Hey e-commerce marketing podcast listener, I wanted to let you know that we have created 16 e-commerce marketing videos for you. You can download these free videos by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting the word videos to +1 480 418 1411. These step-by-step video marketing tutorials will teach you how to drive more traffic to your e-commerce website, how to get more backlinks to your e-commerce website, and how to optimize your website to get more paid customers. Get the videos right now by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting videos to +1 480 418 1411. Welcome to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Today's guest is Molly McDonald, and she is the founder and CEO of the Mobile Locker Company. Welcome to the podcast, Molly.
Thank you for having me.
If you can just give us a quick background about who you are, how you ended up founding the company, and how your journey has been so far.
Sure. So we're based in Boston, Massachusetts, and the company focuses on providing events with secure, convenient storage options for athletes or attendees. Also, at times, we've been a solution for employees. The genesis of the idea actually came about a pain point that I was experiencing myself as a runner. I would go to road races, and I just didn't love the options for my gear storage, which often also was just sort of a key or my wallet. I wanted somewhere secure that I could put those items, and then also somewhere that was very convenient to come back and forth in case I needed anything before or after the race. And the bag check solutions weren't always the best. So it's a little self-serving. I started the company in 2014 with a pretty sort of narrow focus on being this solution for road races, half marathons, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We soon realized that also initially we launched with a custom locker trailer, and about 6 months in, we realized there was significant improvement that could be made. So we rebranded to the current name, the Mobile Locker Company, and then also upgraded the trailer to trucks. So now we operate custom box trucks that are sort of like locker rooms on wheels. And with that transition, the business suddenly looked a bit more polished. Events were more open to having us on site in comparison to the trailer, which looked a little, it was a great way to start because the costs were low, but it looked a little more, let's say, like a hometown business kind of thing. And so now we've bumped up to the trucks, and we've also found that the need for our services expands far beyond just road races. So now we've done short-term rentals for companies that are doing construction and need lockers for their employees. We've done football games, concerts, festivals. We do a lot of the OCR mud run type races. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing, and golf tournaments as well. So we're seeing that, in this day and age, as security concerns sort of are on the rise, event organizers also want to be able to provide their event attendees or their athletes with a nice solution, so that not missing any of the game to go back to your car, knowing that your stuff is nice and secure. And in that sort of 2 years since we launched, we've also grown from servicing just New England to service all of the Northeast as well as Florida. And we're actually getting our third truck on the road in beginning of 2017, which will service the West Coast. So exciting time.
Yeah. So have you had prior businesses? Is this your first business? And
yes.
Yeah, so like when you first got the idea, did you actually lose something? Is this a problem that you've always been having?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess I've asked a couple questions. So did you lose something, and have you had other businesses, or is this your first business?
This is my first business. I was working in marketing prior to this, and yes, I did. I had lost a few things over the years, and sort of the straw that broke the camel's back was, I had had this idea in my head for quite some time, just sort of the general concept. And I ran a 5K. And when I went in the morning, it was rainy, so I brought a rain jacket. I thought I hid it in this great spot that no one was going to see. When I came back after the race, the jacket was gone. Man. I want to say, I don't think anyone stole it. It was a very popular rain jacket, so they probably just took it thinking it was their own. I remember walking, it was right in the city in Boston, and I remember walking home after that race and coming home to my then boyfriend, he's my husband now, and I said, that's it. I'm just going to do it. And so I planned for about a year and a half before actually launching. But that was definitely the defining moment.
Okay. And before that, you said you were doing marketing. So I'm sure your marketing experience has probably helped you out selling the business and selling your product. Yeah, like how much of your prior marketing experience has actually played into your strategy right now of growing the mobile locker company?
Sure. I definitely tapped into the specific marketing experience in that I was working a copywriter, and then I was working on social media, and then I actually switched over to work on B2B. So I sort of had a wide range of experience within a fairly short time. Graduated college in 2007 and started working in 2008. But definitely was fortunate enough to gain a lot of experience across a good number of areas, and also definitely helped to be aware of the tools that were available to me, and then also things like sensitive to, email marketing concerns and the like. And then in addition, I really tried to pick as much as I could from the companies that I worked for in terms of developing procedures, creating sales reports, creating marketing plans, and to be honest, just sort of, let's say, borrowed a lot of the practices that I saw succeed in my former life.
So what are the strategies, some of the top strategies that you're actually using for the mobile locker company right now?
Sure. So we sort of see our sales efforts, our marketing efforts fall into two buckets. One being trying to attract the attention of the event organizers who would contract our services. On that side of the picture, our B2B strategy has been relying pretty heavily on personal outreach. And I recently brought on, I guess not recently, she's been with me for about a year now. I brought on a sales rep who is fabulous, and she has a great handle on the sort of the art of the sales email that, she manages to make it not so salesy and more of an opportunity for people to connect with us, which is great. On the B2B side, we also utilize Google Adwords because, like I said, there are areas that we don't even know should be prospective clients. So a good example is, unfortunately, the timing didn't work out, but Amazon Fulfillment Center reached out this year looking for lockers as they onboard holiday staff through Google. And so that's a great way for us to get noticed by clients. And then also on the B2C side, we'll put, for example, if we were going to do, let's say, the Miami Marathon, we might make a Google AdWords campaign that included those keywords and with a paid search, so that when someone's just Googling the marathon looking for information about the race, we're going to pop up and they're going to see that we're going to be there. The other top marketing strategies that we use for B2C outreach are, again, relying on our clients a lot. So getting noticed in their pre-race communications, being, present on their website is very helpful. And we always ask, whenever possible, if they can post on their social channels about us being on site. And then lastly, we try to do as much social media as we can, because it's such a great way to, keep an active presence and not look like a stale company. If you go to a website often, especially for something like a mobile locker service, which is pretty utilitarian, there's not so much of a reason for people to always go back and check. But what we do is, on site at events, we task our event managers with connecting with our renters grabbing photos and then posting on Facebook and encouraging them to go back and check us out. So those will probably be the top, the paid, a little bit of paid search, and we do a little bit of paid social as well, and then utilizing that B2B email.
Okay. So from your strategy for the B2B and the B2C, whether it's the email outreach, the personal outreach for the B2B, and then with the paid for both, targeting the businesses and the consumers, and then the social, from all these, I guess, 3 to 4 strategies, what results have you guys gotten from all of this?
Sure. So we'll get, like I said, we always try to ask when we get an inbound lead where they found us. And often it is a Google search. Often also it's word of mouth. But that helps a lot, sort of just trying to find out what got you to us. How did you find us in this, vast world? And when it comes to the B2B email outreach, actually my sales rep and I have on tap to sort of sit down and analyze what types of emails are generating the best response. To be honest, she sort of last week said, I think the best thing is when I just email them and I say, can I have 5 minutes of your time for a call? Because then they'll come back and either say, send me information, or they'll say, yeah, let's hop on a call. And it's an easy way to connect rather than just sort of flooding them with a big email with all the information that they need already. And then when it comes to the B2C outreach, really looking at the engagement where I've made it my goal to get a little bit more into the Facebook analytics. There was a point where I thought Facebook was sort of dying off, but I think it's really gained a little bit more traction, at least amongst our audience. So looking at what posts generate the most activity and trying to maximize on that.
Okay. And how are you planning to improve your results? How are you tracking it? And, what type of growth have you seen maybe in the last 12 months? And what are you going to do to grow it and maybe double that growth?
Sure. Prior to really fairly recently, it's been, I joke and I call myself the CEO, Chief Everything Officer. So I've had to sort of really spread myself much more thin than I wanted to, working on-site events whenever necessary, and which takes, of course, energy and time away from running the business, the classic, working in your business and not on it. But I've made strides, so I've made some hires that take responsibilities off of my back so I can focus more on, improving the results that we're seeing and just being smarter about the investments we're making. But that being said, making a little bit more investment. So I've budgeted a good amount more than we were spending in the past for our paid social, especially now that Facebook allows you to advertise on Instagram as well, which is really great. So really trying to, put myself to task to dive into the analytics that Facebook provides. We use Shopify for our website. They provide some great analytics, and then also Google Adwords. So that's sort of my winter task for myself.
And you had mentioned that you're working with somebody else to do the sales email for the B2B, but for all these other strategies and even just running the whole business, do you have a team, or is it just the two of you at this point?
Yeah, so right now it's officially just the two of us. I do have a team of advisors who I meet. Right, that's actually who I was talking to before we talked. We have a monthly call, and whenever we can, we actually meet in person. And they are very experienced. They give me a lot of advice, so I lean on them whenever I can. And then we've invited one of our event managers who has just proven to be very enthusiastic, very trustworthy, really invested in the company already. He's actually going to step in and start helping us with sales as well, which is great. So there'll be one more person sort of in the day-to-day scheme. But other than that, when it comes to sort of all of the other elements of the business, the marketing, the finance, the reporting, the working on growth, that's still at this point, it's still me focusing on all of that. But like I said, because I'm able to hand off a little bit of the bulk of the work that comes with running the on-site operations, I'm seeing that I have a lot more time during the week to put towards the company, which is great.
Okay, so actually, you brought up something that we hadn't planned to talk about, but maybe if you want to, you can just expound on it a little bit. And I'm referring to your inner circle, the one that you say you always meet with monthly.
Sure.
Yeah, for other listeners out there, I don't know with your process, how did you set this up? Did you seek out this inner circle, or how did you reach out to these people? Did they reach out to you? How many people are involved? What's the goal of using that network and leaning on that network as far as taking your business to whatever your vision of the business you want it to go?
Sure. So it actually began quite organically while I was planning to launch. So I have 4 advisors who each hold shares in the company, either as sweat equity or putting a moderate investment in. And the first one that came on is actually an old family friend of ours who was doing business with my brother and asked what I was doing. And my brother told him, and he said, "That sounds really interesting. Can I meet with her?" And from there, all 4 of them have been colleagues for years and are now also friends. And it's sort of, the first one came on and brought the second one, and then the second 2 came on a little later in the game, hearing about what we were doing and wanting to be a part of it. That said, I think the biggest benefit while I was launching, sometimes people have a tendency to want to sort of keep their idea to themselves until it's out in the world, and it's a natural thing to be worried about competition, someone taking your idea. But really, in reality, the best thing to do is sort of tell everyone what you're doing, and you never, like my brother telling my advisor what I was doing, really putting it out into the universe, and then welcoming when people come to you and say, "This sounds interesting." Of course, you want to vet them and make sure that their interest is real and that they're a good person for you to be working with. But like I said, I just think tell everyone what you want to do, because someone's going to be there who really wants to help you, which is what I luckily found.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing that. It just came up. I wasn't planning on going there, but yeah, thanks for sharing it. I do think it's helpful to always share with others, because you have to build a network, to try and achieve your goals for your business. You just can't do everything by yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Have you had any struggles? Like, what have been some of your struggles the past 12 months?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I think is something that probably a lot of people who started off like me, really owning every part of the business. One big struggle is really to be comfortable and confident, stepping back, delegating work, finding new members of the team, really understanding that the investment in them is going to pan out in the long run and really, really help grow the business. So sort of, putting that trust, I had a tendency to say, no, I can work this event, and then I realized, no, I need to be hiring a team. If I get hit by a bus, this company needs to be able to keep running. And so that was something I definitely had to learn really over the past year and a half or so. But the other, I would say, there's been a couple sort of noted struggles. One main thing, and this isn't meant to be a complaint, but sometimes it can be tough to be a woman in business. And when we first launched, I found I was in the road race management industry, at least up in New England, is heavily run by mostly men and folks who have been doing their races over and over, for 15, 20 years running the same race. So breaking into the industry was definitely a challenge, and I found it was great. The first 2 big races that we booked were both actually races organized by women, which I think is an interesting insight. But once I became a bit more established, that challenge died down a bit. But then, of course, new challenges always arise, like breaking into the market down in Florida, which is just a little bit different than it is up in New England. So, we're still learning a little bit, but on the whole, the races up in New England in terms of size and setup are different than they are down in Florida. And that means that we're not always as great a fit for road races, particularly in Florida. But there is a lot more opportunity, like with golf tournaments we're doing a lot of college bowl games down in Florida this season. So it was a challenge to sort of see that, oh, yes, I can replicate the service in a new region, but I do have to tweak sort of the focus just a bit. So definitely still working on that, but things are going well.
Again, Molly, thanks for being on the podcast. If people wanted to reach out and just, send you an email or reach out to you through Twitter, what's the best information for them to reach you?
Yeah, everyone can send me an email whenever they want. My email is Molly, MOLLY, at themobilelockerco.com. On Twitter, our handle is mobilelockerco. And I directly manage all of our social media. So if you want to reach out to me through our Facebook page, which is The Mobile Locker Co., or Twitter, Instagram, I'll look out for some outreach and get right back to you.
Any final thoughts?
Just that, excited. I appreciate being on the podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my contact information because I love connecting with entrepreneurs who I can learn from, or who can maybe learn from me, or even just vent to one another.
Oh, okay.
I appreciate the time.
The last question I usually ask is, what is the one thing an e-commerce business can do right now to help them generate traffic, sales, and just grow?
Like I said before, I think we should focus, sort of go back to focusing on that paid Facebook opportunity, because it is a bit of a pay-to-play opportunity now versus Facebook a year and a half ago, where you could really drive organic traffic. But it's just such a great way to target your message to the audience that you want to reach.
Okay, Molly, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Join the e-commerce marketing podcast Facebook group to learn, connect, collaborate, and grow with other e-commerce marketers at ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. Subscribe to us on iTunes by searching for e-commerce marketing podcast, and please leave a rating and a review. Thank you for listening. See you next time.